So I had this lamb shank bone left over from a takeaway meal they had, and I was looking at the bone and I knew I had to do something with it. I mean, look at it, it's a handle, or it's a something. So she said I had 2 days to do something with it, else it's going in the bin, so I jumped straight to it. Now for Christmas I got a GoPro, and I'm filming this section with the GoPro in my mouth. It was the only way I could do it. I had to turn the sound down because my breath was against the microphone. I sounded like Darth Vader. So I cleaned it all up, took away the meaty sections, the tendons and everything. And there's this bit with the phone. I did this so many times. I'm such a bloody kid, I know. But it looks great. So the cleaning continued. I've done it by hand, I've done it by boiling. Why not stick it in the washer? And in the washer it went, with the plates and everything else. Come the next morning. Yep, it's clean. I don't think I can get it any cleaner. And there it is. It's got to be a handle, it's got to be something. Why? Because it fits in my hand. I mean, look at that. It fits perfectly. It's going to be something. Got to be something. See Al and Sophie in the background there? And yes, I did the trick with the phone again. Guess you got to go for Christmas. When I said that with my thumb over the microphone. Oh well, I took the strenuous walk to the garage, all of 30 seconds, to continue the next stage, which is, what is this going to be the handle for? So I went to one of my many buckets and started sifting through. Trowel, no. Knife, well, maybe. Hammer, well, don't know. File, could be. Hammer again, no. Spanner, no. Big hammer, no. Chisels, yeah. Possibly chisels, got loads and loads of those. Put all this back. So, could it be a knife? Yeah, maybe. Chisels looking pretty good. Got quite a few of those, and more besides. So, knife, well, maybe, but the shank's too big. I've got plenty of chisels, all quite a lot the same size. I would have to cut this, Stanley, and I like it too much, so it's not going to be that. Looking at it all, I think it's going to be a lamb shank chisel. So I started on to getting rid of the handle that's there. I got my GoPro in my mouth again, but in my excitement I didn't press record. Luckily I'm in the habit of sticking a second camera, and that's how I managed to get the footage. But hey, so it's a hard rubber. I'm hacking away at it first just to test it out. It's very flexible, but it's also very hard as well. Breaks off quite easily, so I'm going to have to cut it off. No problem, I just don't want to damage the shank. And I'm cutting away. See sparks, so I have hit the shank. And there, that's it. Piece of hot rubber hit me in the hand, and yes, it was hot enough. But then, why waste an opportunity? A photo was taken. Yes, it was taken. It was sorted out, and it was stuck on Instagram. That's not mine. There we are. Why not? Absolutely, why not? Thanks, Andy Berkeley. And anyway, back to it. Cutting off the handles, almost done. It's very, very stiff, and I don't want to cut through the shank because the shank is so, well, it's small enough anyway. I mean, I've got to use it to maximum what they give me. This is the GoPro in my mouth for the second time, and this time I did press record. And you can see I've hit the shank there, so good. There is something that I could use, but that rubber's got to come off. And you can probably hear on the soundtrack my breath against the microphone of the GoPro. I sound like Darth Vader again. Oh well, that's something I'll have to sort out. So I've cut through. I'm now splitting the rubber. It's pretty tough stuff, because I don't want to go berserk and start destroying everything, which I tend to do in my heavy-handed ways. But it's coming off. I can see the light at the end of the chisel. No, the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And there it is. Just a little bit more to get rid of now, but look how small that shank is. They give you so little. So little to play with. Oh, not exactly tools to live forever, but then I don't want tools that need to be looked after all the time. I want tools I can use. Some would call me a heathen, but hey, heathens built the world. So that's what I've got. It's going to be the handle in with there. That's the plan, and I like it. Just turn it around. It does feel very different in different ways in my hand. And again, I did it. I can't resist it. I just can't resist it. Feedback. So, epoxy resin. Mix it all up. And whenever you see my mobile in the corner, that's when I've got the GoPro in the mouth. There it is. Mouth shot. There's some green tape to do the obvious to save the mess. Feel it. The bone is completely hollow. So it really did absorb a fair whack of epoxy, which is great. The more I fill that bone, the stronger it is. In it goes. Have a clean up, and I've got to turn it round. I've got to find the most comfortable way. I do intend to use it. I mean, I'm not going to start bashing with the hammer. You know, this is a bit of fun, but everything has to be used. Fill it up again. There. So, got to find the best way to let it dry, because gravity tends to get in the way and the epoxy tends to start running out. The bone turns it at a funny angle, so maybe that's the way to go. Whilst it's all still wet, I can still move it around and get as much epoxy in there as possible for strength and also for looks. It's got to look finished. Yeah. Then I had a change of mind. I thought, why fight gravity when it can make it work on your side? So whilst everything was still wet, working pretty quick, I stuck it upright. And then poured in the last bits of the resin into any gaps there was. Ta-da! Okay, next day, taking it off and now sanding up the remains. You can see the resin's well fitted in there, well fixed. Just clean up the blade. I did sharpen it, by the way, but I didn't bother filming that. I mean, how many times you need to see a chisel sharpened? I'm sure you've all seen it done. Just cleaning off any bits of resin. But it does feel good. It does feel, even though it looks crazy ridiculous and it's a Viking chisel, but it does feel good in your hand. I started to think, hey, I could do this a bit more seriously and make something stronger. He's a happy lad. And there in the back, there it is, in the background is the beer view mirror, which is my first video. I'll stick a link in the description for that if you're interested in looking at it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Completely unplanned, and that's the way I like it. Back home, job done, get on with Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. On with the next one.